Oh, hi guys, I didn't see you there. I was just drawing something because sometimes in the magic library, things can get a little boring, so you gotta keep yourself entertained, right? Here, let me show you guys what I've been working on. It says, I love PHP Junior, and then it's got a cute little smiley face right there. Isn't that awesome? I've missed you guys so much, and as always, I hope you're staying safe and doing well this summer. And I'm ready for another story time if you are, and today I thought we could start with one of my favorite stories called The Wizard's Test. Long ago, in a castle on a mountain high up in the clouds, there lived a young boy called Joe. Of course, it was no ordinary castle, and Joe was no ordinary boy. The castle was home to a group of good wizards, and Joe was an orphan who had been left on the doorstep as a baby. The kind wizards took him in, and from that day on, Joe lived with them, helping around the castle to earn his keep. Joe was very happy living with the wizards, but the older he got, the more he longed to become a wizard himself. One day, he finally plucked up enough courage to speak to Magicus, the head wizard. I want to become a wizard, he told the kind old man. What do I have to do to become one? Magicus smiled at Joe. Oh, I'm sure you'd make a great wizard, he told him. But before we're allowed to teach anyone about our magic secrets, we must be sure they are trustworthy. You must prove yourself by passing the wizard's test. What's that? Asked Joe. You must start by going to the forest on the other side of the mountain, said Magicus. Then you must find the secret glade in its very heart. But what should I do when I get there? Asked Joe. I'm not allowed to tell you that, replied Magicus mysteriously, and with that he disappeared in a swirl of silver magic dust. Early next morning, Joe set off down the mountain to find the forest, taking only a hunk of bread and cheese in a knapsack. It was almost noon, and he reached the edge of the trees. The forest was strangely quiet when he entered it, and Joe suddenly felt frightened. Joe had heard all sorts of stories about the weird creatures that lived in the forest. I will be brave, he whispered to himself as he pushed through the brambles. Just then, Joe heard somebody crying. He climbed through the thorny bushes until he burst out into a clearing. There was by a bubbling stream sat a tiny pixie. What's the matter? Cried Joe. Are you hurt? The pixie looked up. Oh, no! He sniffed, wiping his nose on his sleeve. I'm crying because I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten for days. Joe was reaching into his knapsack for a handkerchief when suddenly he had an idea. Here, he said, take my lunch. You need it far more than I do. The pixie was delighted. Oh, how kind you are, he cried. How can I thank you? You could show me the way to the secret glade, suggested Joe. Of course, replied the little man. Just follow that stream and it will lead you there. Thank you, said Joe politely, before turning to wave goodbye. But the little pixie had disappeared. All that remained was a swirl of silver dust. I wonder where he went, exclaimed Joe, setting off on his way once again. Joe had not gone far for when he saw something gleaming in the bushes. He knelt down to take a closer look and gasped in amazement as he pulled a beautiful crystal ball out. It was exactly like the ones in the magic books at the castle. Joe picked it up and gazed at it longingly. I wish it was mine, he said. Would it matter if he slipped it into his pocket? It didn't seem to belong to anyone. Joe was just about to put it into his pocket when suddenly an old man appeared before him. He seemed to be looking for something. Are you searching for this? Asked Joe, holding out the crystal ball. My precious crystal, cried the man happily. I thought I had lost it forever. What an honest young man. How can I ever thank you? You could help me find my way to the secret glade, suggested Joe. Just follow the water, chuckled the old man, pointing below stream. Joe turned to thank the man, but he had disappeared in a swirl of silver dust. This is a very strange place, muttered Joe as he set off down the stream once again. As Joe went deeper into the forest, he had to fight to push his way through the bushes and brambles. The thorns scratched his legs, but he kept going. Then, just as he was about to give up hope of ever finding the secret place, the forest opened out into a cool green glade with a shimmering pond in the middle. The secret glade, cried Joe. Maybe now I'll find out what I have to do for the wizard's test. Just then, Magicus appeared in a swirl of silver magic dust. You have already completed the test, smiled the wizard, and I'm pleased to say that you have passed with flying colors. But I haven't done anything yet, frowned Joe. Yes, you have, replied Magicus. I have been watching you today, disguised as a pixie and an old man. You traveled through the forest, and even though you were afraid, gave me your food and returned my crystal ball, even though you longed to keep it. You have proved that you are brave and kind and honest, and the three things that every good wizard must be. I have no doubt at all that we can trust a young man like you with all our magic secrets. And now I think it's time I taught you your very first spell. A spell to magic yourself back home to the castle for a special celebration. And that's the end of that story, guys. Wasn't that so awesome? As always, I'd like to say thank you so much for coming to Story Time, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye, guys!